A very good day to you. Welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jadel Kabir. I'm so glad that you're joining us today for a political conversation, simple, truthful, and biased with Herman Manyora. Sir, how are you doing today?
Wonderful.
You're fine?
A little cold, but fine.
I think I'm feeling colder than you because you don't even have a jacket.
Yeah,
but let's
yeah.
let's have a conversation. We're talking about this man, Ruto. Tell me first, how would you describe his journey from his getting into parliament to now becoming the president-elect, and what would you say has attributed to this? In the media, it's more like a success story of someone who came from nothing to zero to hero now.
I had a video I wanted to release some times back, and my advisors advised me against it. That video was titled, "This Man Ruto." I thought it would shake Raila so badly. I shelved it.
Yeah.
2018, I shelved it. 2019, 2020, then I couldn't do it.
Why so?
It really was presenting a Ruto this Raila would not have defeated. You know, a man with a burning ambition, a singular ambition to be president of the country. A man who has gone against great odds. Few people travel that journey in the manner he has traveled. Because to be president of a country, even a small, poor, third world country like Kenya, it's not a small matter.
So it's the ambition.
And to come from nowhere to get to where Ruto has gotten, it's not a small matter.
Okay.
There must be something about you. And that is something I had always wanted to bring in that video. But I said no. I'll be destroying the Raila side.
Apart then from this,
history may not judge me fairly.
Apart from this ambition that you say, because most people have ambition, but it doesn't lead them to a place where Ruto is currently going to be.
You know, ambition tomorrow. With the determination. If you look at history, there are men like Ruto who have gone against great odds, including weak fellows like Sundiata.
Yeah.
I know he didn't do history, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Including the weak David.
Yeah.
You know, when they wanted somebody in the home, Samuel who was sent.
Yes.
Bring your sons, I want to anoint.
Oh.
Collect as you see you. But I was told there's somebody here I must anoint. And said, but all the children are over. Oh, these are all my sons. But there's another useless one looking after
goats
and sheep, whatever it is. Bring that one. So sometimes people go against odds. Sometimes people go against odds because of many reasons. Sometimes it is fate. Sometimes it is history. Sometimes it's luck. Sometimes it's a combination of this. Sometimes it's the person, the character. Sometimes working with one of those or a combination of all those. And Shakespeare put it very well. To paraphrase him, he says, some are born great. See? Some are made great. Some have greatness thrust upon them.
No.
Shakespeare. So, but if you look at Ruto, it is Ruto the person more than anything else. But again, he may not be as great as we are trying to ascribe him.
Yeah.
I have my own thinking. When you look at these people, and I've said it many times, I remember when I was doing a clip on Moses Kuria. Had you come?
Yes, yes.
When I say Moses Kuria should deputize Raila. And I said, when I say this, people will laugh. I said people will laugh because when they look at Moses Kuria, he's a nobody. And they look at these big names. And I said this. These people are overrated. You remember me saying that?
Yes.
Many of these people we see big names, they're just overrated. You see somebody's a judge, you think it's because he's a judge, he's something. But if you start with him here, you'll know he's just a useless person. You see somebody's a minister because he's a minister. You think but if you had to interact with him, what?
So Ruto,
you'll see some of these big people here. Either because their parents were things and they became things, either because of some luck or some accident. Some of them went to school. They were those people who read at night when they switch off lights. They read under the blanket so that the matron they may not be seen.
Yeah.
Anaingia ndani ya blanketi anawasha candle anasoma. Then he passes Form 4, then in nowadays Form 6, then in university wala walikuwa wanafunja library doors kwenda kusoma. When the library is open, when exams are near, people used to break the doors, trying to crash into the library to go and read because of exams.
Yeah.
So then one thing, because he gets a scholarship, then they become things, they may become ministers, they may become CEOs, they may become judges. But if you sit with them, most of them are just useless people. So somebody like Ruto, I think now if I look back at what has happened, he knew these people are useless. Even as we were saying, oh, sijui what, yatasaidia Raila, sijui deep state. Ruto knew these are useless people. He knew it. And indeed, most of them are useless.
Of course, of course, when it came to 2013, it was now introduced well to the Kikuyu community.
Yes.
Yeah, now he had the Kalenjin, he had the Kikuyu.
Yes, yes, yes.
And now some say, even he says, his win has come from God. What role has this Christian, perception
We are
played?
turning this country into a theocracy in a foolish way.
Yeah.
Let's not drag God into stupid things.
I'm thinking about the demography of Christians, because this is what he has run with.
People, when people want to grab power or get power, they resort to all manner of things. This idea of bringing God into the picture is not the first time. People have done it. People have been very good to the masses. The approach Ruto has had, it's not a new approach. Even Hitler used it. You become very populist.
Okay.
Trump used it. People are suffering.
So my question is, has it worked for him, playing that card?
Yes. It worked for Moi. Moi was always with the Bible. But we all know the Moi who ruled this country. It works, but people say even the Supreme Court is saying it was God. Yeah.
Talk to me now about his relationship. He became friends with Uhuru in 2013. How did that relationship, before it became bitter, work for him?
Let me tell you. We all knew, and we said it, and Ruto knew it, and the Kalenjin knew it, that Uhuru would not support him. They knew. It was not anything. Everybody knew. In fact, the only mistake we made, we said Kikuyus will never support him. But as it turned out, it was Uhuru who never supported him, which is more or less the same thing.
Okay.
So knowing that Uhuru could play him and was certainly going to play him, he worked smart. He started by making friends. And don't play with Ruto when it comes to making friends. He entered Mashinana and began making friends. He penetrated churches and made friends with church leaders, pastors, bishops, ordinary leaders. He went down instead of up.
Okay.
You see? And he could see that games were being played to disinherit him. But he continued making friends and inroads. Oh. And by 2017, he had done enough. When the handshake was coming, he just engaged a bigger gear, a faster gear, lighter gear.
You said he went down instead of going up. And from our previous conversations, it's all about Raila has these kingpins.
Yes.
Ruto doesn't have those that can sway.
Yes.
Does this mean how our politics has changed based on how he has won?
You could say yes and no. Yes, because it sort of worked for him, if you ignore other issues. But no, because if it worked, then the results we had would not have been the way they were. The results are more or less still reflective of the tribal and ethnic politics of the country.
Okay.
Yeah. By and large, you saw the country painted blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So our politics are still more or less the same, but it worked in a small way.
Does this
because if it didn't work in some reasonable measure, then he would not even have hit 5 million votes.
Does this mean we are now changing? Is that what we are seeing with this victory? That maybe in 2017 you don't really have to focus on regional kingpins?
It is possible. It is possible. It is possible that's a new trend. I did argue that perhaps wrongly, that 2022 wasn't the time, but that it surely was coming. It could come earlier than I thought. It could come 2027, 2032. But again, it depends on how politics works. Politics is very dynamic.
Yeah.
Extremely dynamic.
Yeah, for sure.
You could think This momentum Ruto has started will push him into victory in 2027, but then it doesn't. People could begin regretting. Say, oh, we made a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you see, like for Trump, he had to be rigged out, if you ask me.
You still stand
He
with that?
maintained his crowds. They were there with him up to 2020. And if the deep state didn't work against him, he was still going to beat them because the crowds were still with him. So you could get to 2022, 2027, when the crowds are still with Ruto. In fact, even happier. And they will attract even now more those who are still hesitant.
You've mentioned deep state, and I'm just thinking now, did you feel the presence of deep state in this year's elections?
Doesn't.
And what does that mean about our politics as it is now?
You know, let me tell you about deep state. And I've said it on this show. I know people don't want to remember. People choose selectively to remember what they want to remember.
Yeah.
But I said deep state does not mean president. You remember I've said that several.
Yes.
Deep state can be deeper than the president. And in fact, actually the proper definition of deep state rarely includes the president. It is a collection of individuals defined in different societies in different ways who feel the country ought to go in a certain direction. Okay. And therefore they take part in choosing a president, in ensuring that president goes in the direction the things should go, in removing him when they feel the state is endangered.
Okay.
I've explained sometimes it is the military. Generals serving and the former who think the country should go in a certain direction. Sometimes it's the business community. Sometimes it is the oligarchs defined in different ways, like in Russia and so on and so forth. So, if you look at this way, the deep state was not with Raila. Who tells you they were not with Ruto? Because the things that we saw happening, alleged and real, imagined and real, could not have happened if Raila was the deep state, or with the deep state, or if Ruto wasn't with the deep state. Some of the things that happened, they couldn't have happened at all.
Talk to me now about the frostiness of Ruto and the role it played in his win, because I would want to know, he was more of like the opposition the past 3 years actually. What role did it play, seeming as if he's not with government, and is this what hurt Raila? Ruto winning without...
Of course, it was very simple for Ruto. Blame Raila and Uhuru for everything that's gone wrong in the country. So that Uhuru has been painted as the man responsible for all the problems in the country. And now he should share that with Raila, and it succeeded. That Raila has come in to enhance the suffering of Kenyans. Because if Raila was not with Uhuru, Ruto would have had the effect of moderating the harm. Because those upper Kenya wanaumia. That is Ruto now. But because he has been pushed and Raila is there and Raila is not talking on behalf of the people, then Uhuru continues to perpetuate those things that hurt Kenyans. That's how it was presented, and it worked.
Then I want to know then, is the handshake what hurt Raila this time around? If he had stayed out of government opposition, I remember with Miguna they had the national resistance movement. Could things have been different?
I've spent about 2 hours talking to a friend of mine before recording this show. About an hour or so. It's called Michael. He wrote an article today. I was telling, look here. People think Uhuru's endorsement has cost Raila. People think the handshake has cost Raila. A simple reading of situation would say, if Raila had not gone into the handshake, he was going to win this thing hands down. And you can advance it further and say, if Uhuru had supported Raila chini ya maji, again maybe Raila would have won hands down. You could be right, but is that how things always work? Things are not always that simple. For starters, Ruto is president. He's now president of a country called?
Kenya.
You woke up in the morning, which country?
Here in Kenya.
And where are we now?
Here in Kenya.
And we are recording a political program.
Yes.
Who tells you that country will be there today? Who tells you?
So it's not that...
If you look at 2017 and 2018, who tells you that there's a country called Kenya where Ruto is president? It could be there. Smaller issues have brought countries down than what we were going through. The Somalis speak one language, one religion, one culture. From 1990, 91, I think, they have never gotten it right. Uganda from 1971, they've never gotten it right. Who tells you Kenya will be what it is today if there wasn't the handshake? I'm not saying that without the handshake, the country would have collapsed. But I'm also saying it is possible there will be no country today. So if you look at it that way, then you begin to understand. You see things in a better way. And you understand maybe it was necessary for that handshake. Maybe it is that handshake that has made Ruto the president, because he's a president of a country.
Despite Raila.
Maybe there will be no country there, for him to be president of.
Okay.
And then in terms of Uhuru and Raila had a big idea, the idea of uniting this country. And what better place to start than to put the Luo and the Kikuyu together? Because they understand the history of this country. And it will come in the fullness of time. We will come face to face with it. Nobody has ever run away from history successfully. History, you can never run away from history successfully. Never. It's not possible. We will come face to face. So these two gentlemen had seen our problems in this country are not as serious as other countries face. Ours is just a simple problem of Jaramogi and Kenyatta and the Luo and the Kikuyu. Once you sort out that small problem, this country will move up into the space. So Uhuru and Raila working together, to me, was the idea of bringing the country together, beginning by uniting the Luos and the Kikuyus. And then you will have almost solved the problem of tribalism, which breeds corruption, bad governance, bad democracy, compromised democracy, underdevelopment, and all the challenges we face as a country, which prevent us from achieving what we should achieve, being the great country we should be and we can be. So I see Uhuru and Raila having seen further than most of us are willing to see.
Speaking of greatness, I'd want to know, what is the future? What do you think is the future with Ruto Rigathi's presidency?
I have said repeatedly, long before they won, that I believe Ruto can run the country, and he can do a good job. I have given examples of Moi did better than Kenyatta. Is that right?
Yeah.
Kibaki did better than Moi. Uhuru has done better than Kibaki. Ruto will do better than Uhuru. I have no doubt in my mind, if things don't, unless things get out of control, you know? But the bigger dream of this country moving into the future would have been realized under Raila presidency. The bigger dream, a bigger change, a vision of a country that joins the League of Nations faster than we may join would have been achieved under Raila. But still, Ruto will do a good job.
Let's wait and see after the swearing in. Until we do talk again, thank you so much for joining our political conversation. My name is Gerald Cabrera. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.